Honestly, what a bunch of pussies the Pistons are. How do you have the number one seed? You got home court. You got the best record in the East. You work all season to have that kind of privilege. And then you let the 8th seed come in and punk you in your building in game one of the NBA playoffs. You're favored by 8.5 and you get beat like that by a team that had to go the extra mile in the play-in games. And then in the game that they won on Friday night at home by 31, I mean, they played their ass off for 48 minutes on both ends of the floor. They ran up and down. They balled out. They were dunking. They were hitting threes. They were doing everything. And especially on the defensive end, they were in the face. Absolutely in the face. The entire game, when you think about it. And I mean, they exerted everything that they had to win that game on Friday night. Like, let's just face facts. Let's go back to that game. And they win. They blow out Charlotte, kick their ass. They were all over them the entire game. Then they had to travel to Detroit to play this game on Sunday. And then they absolutely kicked the Pistons' ass. You can't make this stuff up. Banchero had 23, 9 boards, 4 dimes to lead the Magic to the 11-point win. That's crazy. And how about the longest losing streak in home games in the playoffs in NBA history? Detroit has lost 11 straight home games in the postseason, a drought that dates to 2008. They get a second chance Wednesday night at home in Game 2 against Orlando. Cade Cunningham had a career playoff high of 39. Doesn't matter when you lose. Tobias Harris had 17. Doesn't matter when you lose. Franz Wagner had 11 of his 19 in the fourth quarter to help seal the deal for the Magic. They never trailed in the fucking game. Desmond Bane and Wendell Carter, 17 apiece. Suggs had 16. The Pistons haven't advanced beyond the first round of the postseason in 18 years, and the Magic haven't done it since 2010. And Detroit looked like shit. They led 18-5 midway through the first after holding the Pistons to 1 of 6 shooting with 4 turnovers in the first game that they've played in a week. I don't even want to hear about it. I don't care what they did the rest of the game. They lost. They were laying 8.5. They got their ass beat. They suck. They're frauds. That's all you need to know. I can't believe I bet on them and lost. That's my bad, my fault. Hate me all you want. I hit the Oak City game. They blew out the Suns 119-84. We were laying 14. It went to 17.5. Shea Gilgeous with a 25 burger. Thunder begin their title defense with a 119-84 rout of the Suns. He had 5 of 18 from the floor, but he went 15 of 17 at the foul line before sitting out the fourth. Jay Will had 22. Abe Lincoln, Chet Holmgren had 16 for the top-seeded Thunder. They'll host Game 2 on Wednesday night. D-Book had 23. Dylan Brooks, 18 for the Suns. They shot 34.9% from the floor. Jalen Green, who scored 35 and 36 in Phoenix's 2 playing games, had just 17. Third straight year, the Thunder have earned the top seed and had to wait through the play-in to learn who they were going to be playing. I don't care about who they played before, years before. Bottom line is they won. That's all that matters. Let's get real here. The Celtics cooked the Sixers 123-91. I should have bet that. I mean, they just put a beat down on Philly. Jason Tatum had 25, 11 rebounds, 7 dimes in his first playoff game since his Achilles last season. They roll in Game 1. Jaylen Brown had 26. Queta had 13. Tatum scored 21 in the first half. That's crazy. Boston never trailed. They had a 35-point lead. They had 12 players going. They hit 16 threes. Maxi Pat had 21 and 8 assists for the Sixers, who played without JoJo the pussy. I'll never say it to his face, but that fucking guy never shows up. He never plays. He's always injured. It's always something. I mean, he had the appendectomy like fucking 10, 12 days ago. Like, how long? I know a guy had an appendectomy literally the same day he did, and the guy's already playing again. Some kid I know. I swear to God, I'm not even fucking pulling your leg. What is the deal with this guy? His team's in the playoffs and he's fucking sitting on the sideline. It's embarrassing. It really is. They were down at the half 64-46. I mean, my God. There's nothing to say. It's that bad. San Antonio, the 2 seed, a winner over the Blazers, 111-98. Wemby had 35 in his playoff debut, and they rolled. 21 first-half points for Wembanyama, sets an NBA record for the most in the opening half of an NBA playoff debut since the league's play-by-play era in 97. It started. His 35 total points set a Spurs franchise record for the most in a playoff debut, surpassing Tim Duncan's 32 in 98. Game 2 is Tuesday night in San Antonio. Then they'll go to Portland for games 3 and 4. Castle and Fox had 17 each and combined for 15 assists for the Spurs. They all got off. Avdia had 30 and 10 rebounds to lead the Blazers. They beat Phoenix in the play-in to earn the 7. Scoot Henderson, the number 3 pick in the 23 draft, had 18 for the Blazers. Anyway, the Spurs think they can do it. They think that they can knock off the Thunder and win it all. They're a dangerous team. There's no doubt about it. Matt Fitzpatrick, a winner at the RBC Heritage, gets the plaid jacket. 1800, wins in a playoff with Scotty Scheffler and wins $3.6 million. Baseball. Washington 3-0 over San Francisco. They get it done. The Pirates 6-3 at home at PNC over Tampa. They win the series. Brian Reynolds drove in 3 runs. Helen Keller pitched 7 strong. Reynolds 2-run single to left, capped a 3-run fifth, put the Pirates ahead. Keller allowed 2 runs and 5 hits and struck out 5. Horwitz hit a home run. York hit a home run. They beat Dirty Harry McClanahan, gave up 4 runs and 8 hits and 4 1/3. Pirates are tough. The Rays lost 2 of 3 in the series after entering on a 6-game winning streak. The Pirates finished their homestand 4-3. Now they'll go on the road. Cleveland 8-4 over Baltimore. Jose Ramirez hits 2 home runs for the Guardians. Miami beat us on a ticket. We had the Brewers. Miami won at 5-3. Yuri Perez allowed 3 hits in 6 innings and beat Mizorowski. I can't believe it. In 10 innings, St. Louis 7-5 over the Astros in Houston. Mason Wynn cleared the bases with a double down the third base line. The Cardinals won their 5th straight game. Wynn was 3 for 5, finished the series with 7 RBIs. Cincinnati, all they do is win. I told you this yesterday on Ferrall Unplugged. They win in 10, 7-4 over the Twins at Target Field. TJ Friedel with a 3-run double in the 9th. And the Reds rally. That was the go-ahead hit. They just keep getting it done. They're 14-8. The Mets have lost 11 in a row. Man, do they suck. Cubs beat them 2-1 in 10 innings. Nico Herner hit a sac fly off Kimbrel in the 10th inning to win it for the Cubs at Wrigley on the north side. Colorado, how about they beat the Dodgers in 2 in a row? 9-6 over the Dodgers at Coors. Get out the Cognac Moniac, a go-ahead 2-run homer in the 7th for the Rockies. White Sox over the A's 7-4. Murakami homers, and the White Sox hit 4 home runs. And they beat the A's in Sacktown. San Diego 2-1 over the Angels at the Big A. Mason Miller closes the door, a combined 2-hitter to extend a scoreless streak. How about this guy, Mason Miller? It really is incredible what the guy's doing. Miller struck out 2 in the perfect 9th inning for his 8th save. He's 1 inning shy of the longest scoreless streak in Padres history, set in 2006. He has 27 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 11 1/3 this season. He's given up just 2 hits. You talk about a closer. He's the best in the game. Seattle 5-2 over Texas out in Seattle. Wu-Tang Clan goes 7 strong. Ref Snyder homered for the M's. Toronto 10-4 over Arizona. The Blue Jays ride an 8-run first inning, and that was all they needed. Yankees 7-0 over the Royals in the boogie down. Aaron Judge hit a 2-run shot in the first inning. Ben Rice went deep for the 4th straight game for the Yankees. They're 13-9 now. Detroit 6-2 over the Red Sox at Fenway. Dylan Dingler, Dirk Diggler, a 3-run shot for Detroit. And Atlanta beat Philly 4-2. Michael Harris leads the Braves. He homered and had 3 hits. The Braves are hot. Albies an RBI double. Riley drove in a run. They've won 5 in a row and 9 of 11. The Braves are on fire. All right, the Stanley Cup playoffs are just rocking. Colorado 2-1 over the Kings at Denver. At the Ball Arena, Wedgwood was tough. 24 saves. O'Connor a goal. Lehkonen a goal. And that's all they needed in a close game against LA. Montreal in overtime beat Tampa. Slavkovsky's hat trick, his 3rd of the game, a power play, 122 into overtime, lifts the Canadiens in Game 1 in Tampa, and the Lightning fans were stunned going to the parking lots. How about Buffalo? They're losing the game all night at home. First time they've been in the playoffs in 15 years. But Mateus Samuelsson broke a tie with 3 minutes left, and Buffalo overcame a 2-goal deficit. They were down 2-0 in the final 8 minutes. Tage Thompson scored goals 3:42 apart to tie it. 2 goals for him. Alex Tuck sealed the victory by scoring into an empty net with 1:12 left. And the place went crazy in Shoving Off Buffalo. They lead that series 1-0. Colorado leads 1-0. Montreal leads 1-0. And Vegas leads 1-0. They beat Utah 4-2 and Cincinnati to make it a beautiful down Las Vegas, baby. Golden Knights rally. They were losing the game. Nick Dowd redirected Noah Hannifin's shot for the point to put Vegas ahead at 7:20 of the 3rd, and they beat the Mammoth. Game 2 is Tuesday night in Vegas on the Strip. They twice trailed before scoring 3 third-period goals, have not lost in regulation since they hired Tortorella 8-0-1 since he took over. It was the Mammoth's first franchise playoff game since 2020. They're in their 2nd season in Utah after leaving Arizona. All right, let's look at everything that's going to go down on a Misery Monday. You got the Raptors at the Cavs. Cavs laying 8.5. Cavs up 1-0 in the series. 222 and a hook is the number. It's on NBC. At 8 on NBC. Now, NBC Sports Channel, I don't even know that fucking channel exists. But at 8 on NBC is Atlanta and the Knicks at the Garden. World's most famous. Knicks laying 5.5, 217.5. And at 10:30 on NBC, it's Minnesota against Denver. By the way, the Knicks are up 1, Cleveland's up 1, Denver's up 1. Denver laying 6.5 in Game 2, 231.5 the high total. Baseball, there's an 11-10 game at Fenway. It must be Patriots Day or something. Detroit and Boston. Flaherty against Sonny Gray. I kind of like the Red Sox always on Patriots Day, even though they suck. They're 8-13. Everything else at night. Houston at Cleveland. Serengeti, your boy Arrighetti against Ciccone for the Guardians. I like the Guards. 6:40 St. Louis and Miami. McGreevy, Governor McGreevy against Meyer, Oscar Meyer. All right, Cincinnati at Tampa Bay, Louder, and then Schottens, Schottenbeer, Schottenbeer. All right, 6:45 Atlanta and Washington. Elder Statesman against Michael Irvin. 7:40 Philly at the Cubs. At Wrigley, under the lights, Nola against Diarrhea. 7:40 Baltimore at Kansas City. Bradish against Lugo. 8:40 Dodgers at Rockies. Robleski against Quintana. I don't think they're losing again to the Rockies. 9:38 Toronto at the Angels. Cease against Detmers. And 9:40 A's at Seattle. Ginn against Hancock. 4 Stanley Cup playoff games. The Penguins lost game 1. The Flyers kicked their ass 3-2, but believe me, they kicked their ass. Game 2 tonight in PPG in the Steel City. Penguins are minus $1.53. I've seen it you can get it at minus $1.45 if you want to bet on the Penguins. It's on ESPN at 7:30 on the Deuce. Ottawa and Carolina, game 2. Carolina's up 1-0. They won the first game, and they're favored almost $1.50. 9:30 on ESPN, Minnesota and Dallas, game 2. Minnesota kicked their ass 6-1 in game 1. They lead the series. Dallas has to win this. This is a must-win game as far as I'm concerned. You can't lose both home games. They're minus $1.34. And then 10 o'clock on the Deuce, Anaheim and Edmonton, game 1 in Edmonton. And the Oilers are heavy favorites, minus $1.75. You can get the Ducks at plus 145. Believe me, they might be in that game. They're tough. I'll tell you that much. It's time for Fast Forward Ferrall on Your Facial, where we do all the stories that matter and even the ones that don't matter. Let's start with Melrose Place actor Patrick Muldoon. He was on several soap operas. He's done all kinds of shows. Guy was good looking. Chicks dug him. He died of a heart attack. What was he in? Spaceship or Starship Troopers. Remember that funny movie? Apparently he went to the shower Sunday morning after drinking coffee with his girlfriend in Beverly Hills. His girlfriend went to check on him and found him unconscious on the bathroom floor, allegedly. Paramedics showed up, tried to revive him. There was nothing they could do. He was on Who's the Boss, Saved by the Bell. All the chicks wanted to do him on Melrose Place. I know that much. It's always good when all the chicks want to do you. Heart attacks suck, believe me. I didn't have a heart attack. I always say that I had a heart attack. I had my valves exploded off of my heart. It's a different thing. It's much more dangerous than a heart attack. Heart attacks are bad. When your heart explodes and your valves blow off your heart and you're spraying blood all over your chest, that's a problem. A major 7.4 magnitude earthquake hit above Tokyo in Japan today. Tsunami warnings everywhere. They had gigantic 82 centimeter waves after this earthquake. That's what they're worried about, is these waves. 82 centimeters, that's huge. That's fucking huge. That'd be the biggest wave anyone's ever ridden, even at Nazaré in Portugal. All right, Ben Rice of the Yankees with at least a 475 on-base percentage, 800 slugging, 20 runs in a player's first 21 games of a season. Here's who's done it. He's done it. Alex Rodriguez, Mickey Mantle, Lou Gehrig, and Babe Ruth. Those are the only players that have ever done that. Babe Ruth, he's in a string of people, including Mantle, Gehrig, and Ruth. I mean, you got to be kidding me. The drought is over for the Sabres. I told you, they're the second team to overcome a multi-goal deficit in the final 8 minutes to win a game. I mean to tell you, that arena last night in Buffalo was going crazy. Slavkovsky, we told you, for the Canadiens, became the third youngest player in Canadiens playoff history with a hat trick. He's only the third guy to ever do it. Listen to this. Bernie Geoffrion did it when he was 21 in Game 2 of the 52 semifinals. And then Howie Morantz when he was 21 years old and 183 days in Game 1 of the 24 Stanley Cup Final. And then you got this guy doing this yesterday to win that game. That really is amazing. And Tampa didn't know what hit him. Detroit has not won a playoff game. I told you this earlier. At home since 2008. That's the longest streak in history. Man, do they suck. 11 straight home playoff game losses. And they were laying 8.5. And I was stupid enough to fucking bet on them. I won't do that again. The Padres closer, Mason Miller's updated season stats after his 8th save against the Angels. 38 batters faced, 34 outs, 27 strikeouts, 2 singles allowed, 2 walks allowed, 32 and 2/3 scoreless innings since August 5th of 2025. This guy is shutdown city. How about Matt Fitzpatrick winning the golf tournament, the RBC, in a playoff against the best golfer in the world, Scottie Scheffler? Remember, he finished second at the Masters as well, but Fitzpatrick, second win in his last 3 starts, third top 2 in 4 starts. He's earned yesterday $3.6 million, and he moves into second in the FedEx Cup points for the playoffs at the end of the year. How about this lady? An Indiana mother of 7. I mean, this bitch is pouring out kids like fucking orange juice. 7 kids, accused of offering her 7-month-old daughter, 7 months old. I mean, it's a newborn baby. Offering her 7-month-old daughter for sex to a man on Snapchat for $400. The 32-year-old mom denied sending the message. Police say she did. She sent it from her phone at her home. She reportedly sent 3 photos of her infant baby daughter with the message, quote, "You can fuck her for $400. Half now, rest after. I'll send my address. I live alone, and her daddy is not in the picture." The Snapchat flagged the message to authorities. Then, 10 days later, the FBI arrived at her home. She's booked, she's in jail, and she's a piece of shit. Can you imagine being such a fucking loser that you offer your 7-month-old newborn baby sex to some freak, some fucking pervert, some fucking demented fuck on Snapchat? You got to have something wrong with her. Put her in jail for 20 years so she learns a lesson, and take those 7 kids and get them the fuck away from her permanently. That's what you need to do there. The grandson of John Gotti, Carmine Gotti, Angelo is his new last name, previously had been supposed to be sentenced for a COVID fraud scheme that he was involved in. Now he's going to be sentenced today in New York. His mother is Gotti's daughter, Victoria Gotti. We never stop talking about the Gottis. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum each scored 20-plus points in the same playoff game for the 50th time, the second most in Celtics history, behind, of course, Larry Legend and Kevin McHale. You knew they were going to win. I should have bet on them and not the pussy Pistons. Houston Cougar freshman Kingston Flemings announced that he'll enter the 26 NBA draft. He was their best player, highest scorer. Connor Griffin of the Pirates extends his hitting streak to 6 games, becoming the first Pirate teenager to do so since Bill Mazeroski in 1956. He is a badass. I'm sick of hearing about people saying, send him back down to the minors and let him figure it out there. Let him figure it out where he is. Stay in the majors, stay in the show, stay up with the Pirates. That's the best way to turn him into the superstar that he's going to be. The Mets' ugliness continues, this time with the loss 2-1 in 10 innings to the Cubs, a blown save by Devin Williams in the 9th, and a loss by Kimbrel in the 10th. They've now lost 11 in a row. The last time they had a longer losing streak was 2002. Kim English was the head coach at Providence. My buddy's kid, Johnny Buckets, plays at Providence. He's told UNC, North Carolina officials, that he's decided now not to pursue the assistant coaching job at North Carolina with Michael Malone. I guess he doesn't want to do it, so he's out. Georgia wide receiver Zachariah Branch was arrested in Athens yesterday on a misdemeanor charge of obstructing sidewalks or streets and obstruction of a law officer. So he was pissing off the popo, blocking the streets and sidewalks. Not going to have it. He's just not having it. So he gave him the business and they arrested him. He's projected to be a day 2 pick in the draft in Pittsburgh. This Thursday is the draft, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in Pittsburgh. He was released at 4 a.m. On a $39 bond. Boy, it's nice in Georgia, right? Your bond's $39 for pissing off a cop and blocking the streets. Man, does Georgia, it just never ends with the Georgia football players and their speeding and their stupid shit. It really is amazing when you think about it. By the way, Tatum has averaged at least 25 points per game in each of the past 6 postseasons. Only 5 players in NBA history have done so in at least 7 straight. So Michael Jordan, Shaq, Harden, LeBron, and the Iceman, George Gervin. So Tatum's in there with the big names. I just wanted to tell you this. The Dexter Lawrence deal. I told you he had no sacks last year for the Giants, and he wanted to be traded, so they traded his ass. They got a number 10 pick in the first round for him, which is huge. But the good news for Dexter, Fat Dexter, who does nothing, doesn't sack, doesn't tackle, doesn't do shit, he's just Fat Dexter. The top tax rate in New Jersey is 10.75%. The top tax rate in Ohio, where he is now with the Bengals, is 3.125%. And Cincinnati is 1.8%. He's signing a one-year, $28 million extension with the Bengals. In the end, Lawrence gets the trade he wanted, and he's tied to Cincinnati for the next 3 seasons. So, and he barely has to pay taxes at all in Ohio because it's backward-assed with their taxes. Man, that is a fantastic place to live, apparently, for taxes. Murakami's 7 home runs are the most of any Japanese-born player in the 21 Major League games. I think he's got 8 now. I'm tripping. And the mayor of Haku, China, who reportedly accumulated about $4.5 billion during his career and was found with 13.5 tons of gold and 23 tons of cash in his apartments. He had various apartments where he stashed all this cash and gold, and they showed all the gold and the money. He's been sentenced to death. I wonder if there's anybody that wants to get their hands on that gold and that money. I bet there is. Holy shit. I don't know. What did he do? Sentenced to death. The mayor of Haiku, China. Stashing money and gold. I mean, you got to give him credit. At least he went for it. You know, he had a little plan to get all the cash and gold and stash it, and then he'd be rich as fuck. Tons and tons of gold and cash. Holy shit. All right, so I've given you everything. You're good to go. Keep an eye out for the profits, elite and max profit plays, push plays, prop plays, everything in the community on profitable.tv on the app. Get the app. Tell your friends to get the app. We hit tons of bets. Keep an eye out for my profit plays, which will be in the community later this morning or by lunchtime. You'll be good to go on a Monday. I'm still in Miami, and I got some things to do here today, and then I'll be here tomorrow morning. Actually, tomorrow morning I'm going back early, bright and early, so I don't even know when I'm going to be able to do this shit tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll do it at the airport. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to do it at the airport. Anyway, so you're good to go. For everything else, just go to the app, go to the community. Let's try to make some money on a Monday. Check out. Ooh.